Hi everybody, welcome back to She Sews Happiness. I'm Mary Ellen. This is my channel where I share all things sewing related with you, and in this video today I really am going to be sharing with you some of my sewing plans and some of my recent fabric acquisitions. I haven't done an awful lot of sewing, but I will be back in another video which I hope to get recorded over the weekend, sharing with you my thoughts on the Chalk and Notch fringe dress which I was making as part of the Jenny Stitches blog team, and I was really happy with my project, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you now that that blog is live. If you can't wait for that video, do go over to the Jenny Stitches website, click on the little link to the blog, and you'll find it there along with some other beautiful makes by the other makers, so it's worth checking out actually. So yeah, if you haven't done that before, there's lots of good reading in there and lots of inspiration for different makes. I know I particularly love sewing blogs because sometimes I get stuck in a rut and maybe just can't choose where to go for my next project, and then I'll just see something that works and be inspired by that. So I do tend to check out quite a lot of the sewing blogs in the community, particularly owned by stores and things like that. And as you know as well, I'm also on the Minerva brand ambassador team, which is a huge team with so much inspiration on there, and I've seen a couple of really beautiful projects recently that have got my creative juices flowing. So I need to sit and plan what I'm going to do. So there has been a couple of weeks hiatus since I was last back here chatting to you, and that is for very good reason. Not a story I'm going to go into right now because it's pretty horrific. To cut the long story very short, I ended up going into hospital for a day procedure, but I've had to go back and forth a few times thereafter, and yeah, I just haven't had the headspace to sit and create vlogs and look after Henry and deal with the pain that I was in. It was just a bit much. And on top of that, my darling little goddaughter gave me the cold, so I still have a bit of a remnant of the cold as well, which is why I'm sitting here with my hot cup of tea on a Friday night. Not that it can be anything else while I'm breastfeeding anyhow. Sadly, the days are gone, but they will return where I sit and chat to you with a glass of wine or even perhaps a whiskey in my hand. That would be so inviting right now. But let me just set that aside and I'll chat to you about the lovely fabrics that I have here, and also the things that I am planning on stitching. Which should I do first? Well, maybe do what I'm planning to stitch. So off the back of my fringe dress success, I've decided to create one more. So the fabric that I got in my So Haley Jane box last month, the February box, was this rather sweet, I think it's Rose and Hubble cotton poplin. These beautiful little hearts all over it. From a distance, you know, you wouldn't even know it was hearts. Kind of looks more like just like a polka type crazy dot situation going on from a distance, but I've cut it out and it's prepped and ready to go. I'm just being careful because I haven't stay stitched my necklines yet, but I do have my darts marked in, pinned, etc., and that is what I am planning to make with that. And while I was at it, one of the new fabrics that arrived this week was from Jenny Stitches, and it is this beautiful navy double gauze with these gorgeous gold metallic leaves all over it. Now, I'm a huge fan of double gauze. I think a few videos back you'll find an entire vlog which I have filmed basically talking about my love of double gauze and giving you tips really for sewing with it and making sure, you know, you feel comfortable and confident when you're sewing with it. So yeah, this is another fringe dress. I just sometimes, if I get something and I really love it and it's working for me, I think, well, how can I get those into my wardrobe that will work for different situations? This will be perfect for summer. So double gauze for me is a spring summer fabric. Doesn't stop me wearing it and layering it in the autumn and winter months, but it's just so cool, it's so breathable, it's perfect for the warmer months, and I just wanted to get that in there. The reason I went for the fringe dress with this is because you only get 2.5 meters of fabric, and being a Rose and Hubble cotton poplin, think it's a poplin anyhow. This was only 44 inches wide. So that's the reason I opted. And the reason I opted to make the fringe dress just while it was fresh in my head is because I knew I could squeeze it out of this fabric which came in the So Hilly Jane box. So if you get 2.5 meters of a dressmaking fabric, that's usually very, very sufficient to create an entire dress project. Now, not for my usual wardrobe, which is very full skirted, you know, either huge gathers or circle skirts or half circle skirts. You can't really do that on a 44-inch fabric. It just doesn't look great. So yeah, instead of paneling something together, I decided just to make the fringe dress because I knew I could squeeze it. Now, I wasn't able to get the pockets out of it, but the pockets can be done in a contrasting cotton. That's absolutely no bother at all. I'll do it in black or red or something. You're not going to see them anyhow, but it must have pockets. So those will kind of just get sewn up together, I guess. That'll be a really simple couple of sews, and that's really what I'm looking for at the minute, things that I can put into my wardrobe that fit. So part of my problem at the moment, because I am breastfeeding and 90% of my wardrobe is incredibly fitted, these just aren't fitting into some of my clothes. And in fact, the fringe dresses, I have two from previous makes before I was pregnant, they're just not buttoning here. So that's why I revisited that pattern in the first place. It's also great as a breastfeeding option because it buttons down, although there is also a version that doesn't have the buttons if you can't be bothered with buttonholes and buttons and things like that. So you do have an option. But yeah, absolutely love it. And I'll talk in more detail about the fringe dress in a future, not so far in the future video. So I have done a wee bit of cutting out. That's about all I've got done this week. Here as well, I have got a couple of tiny little projects. So if you've seen my last video or the video before that, I was showing you a little panel that I had bought, basically, which had 12 squares of designs basically for every single month of a baby's first year. So while I missed making the first and the second, as I hadn't purchased it yet, I hadn't found it, I have here the third month and the fourth month cut out and ready to go. So that wee fabric panel I purchased from Caboodle Textiles, and all of the other fabrics to go along with that are from Jenny Stitches. So I have just some navy jersey, and I have some navy ribbing there for neckbands and waistbands and things like that. The pattern I've chosen is the Strawberry Sweater by Poppy and Jazz, the Sew Over It sister company. And while it's a cotton jersey, I decided to use the sweater pattern just because I like it. But moving forward into the summer months, I'll switch over to the little elm t-shirt pattern, which is also Poppy and Jazz. But for the months of March and April, I think I'm good with the long sleeve sweatshirt versions. And then I've also got a little one here cut out in this really neutral color. So this is actually in a French terry, so it's got a little bit more body, but it's a very light French terry, so perfect for the spring months. So I've cut out a little sweater in this stone color, and the reason why I have it is because I thought it was a good base for this beautiful little transfer from Freya Illustrates, which I am going to get ironed onto the front of that little sweater. And because I am that mom, I have a larger one of those transfers to go on a garment for me as well. Because I'll only be able to do this when he's really little. I won't be able to get away with it when he's a bit older. And I've cut myself out my favorite ever pattern. I've never made it in a French terry before, the Colette Patterns Moneta dress, but it'll give it a little bit more structure. I mean, I'm wearing one here at the moment, which is very loose. It's in a beautiful brushed viscose, which I got from First for Fabrics back in the autumn, and these were worn to death throughout my pregnancy, and they're still being worn to death now. It's just the most beautifully soft fabric. It's comparable, I suppose, to like a bamboo just doesn't have the same silkiness, but it has that same softness and breathability, and it's just so easy to wear. But yeah, I've cut this out and I will be putting a transfer on my dress as well. And I know it'll possibly be something that people, quite rightly, will eye roll me for, but to be quite frank, I don't care. Now the other thing that I currently have downstairs, where I'm doing all my cutting during the day or in the evening when Simon comes in, I'll take half an hour and just do something. I'm cutting out another Marlowe sweater, which will be my third. It's just been lovely to throw on if I'm running out to the shop, or even just if I'm sitting working on the laptop and you feel a bit of a chill during the day, which doesn't happen often in my house. My house is ridiculously warm. I mean, it's roasting at the moment, and I have the window open, so that's the state of play, which is great in a cost of living crisis. You know, you don't need the heat on all day to be really cozy in this house, because it has double cavity walls. So I may have rolled my eyes at Simon at the time, but I guess they're pretty useful now. So let me share with you then what I've been buying and what has been arriving. The first few things are not very exciting. They're very basic, but you know, they're sitting here, so I'll show you anyhow. I, as usual, have been shopping with Jenny, and to make all of Henry's little sweaters, I have got here some more navy ribbing, some white ribbing, some of the stone ribbing to go with that colour just over there. I've also purchased some jerseys, so just basic white jersey, baby blue jersey, so it'll all coordinate with that little panel that I have. Set those aside. I have got a beautiful rose print viscose, which I believe is now out of stock. So again, this is from Jenny. Jenny always brings in beautiful rose prints because, like me, she loves that kind of aesthetic. So this is particularly lovely. It's actually on a black background, and it's these gorgeous pink roses and blooms, little white flowers in there as well. And I just love a ditzy floral. No idea what that's going to become, but it's there, and it was ridiculously good value as well. I think this was only £7 per metre, so I think it's beautiful, and I look forward to sewing something with that. I always tend to go for those black bases these days, just because it works through all of the seasons, I suppose. And another fabric that I have here from Jenny, if I can just get to the bottom, try to do things in some kind of ridiculously normal order because I'm a bit scatty these days. So yeah, the other fabric I have here I absolutely love. So it's very hard to see until it's up close, just the detail that is on that fabric. So this is a cotton lawn. It has a beautiful crispness, but it also has a lovely softness to it as well. Would be perfect for a blouse, a shirt dress. If I was making a dress, I'd probably want to line it or wear a slip underneath, because you can, you know, it's very light. It's ex Barber, so it's ex designer stock, and I love dead stock fabric. You always feel like you've done the planet some good by purchasing a dead stock fabric. But I just love those little swallows, and again, not sure what I'm going to make with that, but it was I must have that in my stash buy as per usual. Very seldom do I actually buy fabrics with a project in mind, have to be honest. Not great that way. So next couple of fabrics then are from Sew Me Sunshine. The first was a bit of a frivolous buy, but when I tell you it was £5 a metre, it doesn't sound so frivolous anymore. But this is the fabric that I have purchased. So this is a white tulle with gold stars, and to be honest, it just gave me Hedy Lamarr vibes, so I had to purchase some. And I only bought 3 meters. I'm not planning to make like a tutu style outfit or anything with this, or you know, a petticoated skirt. I've actually got it to create an overlay. So one of my favorite ever patterns, and I haven't made it in a long time because I think I had about 5 of them at the time. But yeah, one of my favorite patterns is the Casado Lima dress, which is a gorgeous v-necked princess themed bodice, gathered skirt with pockets and gorgeous puff sleeves. And I just loved it. The fit is perfect because there's such a variety of sizes. I'll maybe come back and chat to you about the dress once I actually create this one. which I'm not planning to do anytime soon, just so you know. But this is really to serve as an overlay. And I'm going to get maybe some like Duchess satin or something like that as my base fabric, and then just overlay this. So it'll be something that takes a little bit of time, but I think it'll be a really, really pretty occasion piece, you know, for going out or going to a wedding or something like that. Not that I should wear white going to a wedding, but I like breaking rules. So another fabric then that came from Sew Me Sunshine is this lovely Ecofero viscose. So this is a fabric that I saw in a couple of different stores, and by the time I went to purchase it, it was always sold out. And I think the same was true of Sew Me Sunshine. They seem to have got it back in stock again. But just look at that beautiful texture on there. It's almost like it's a knitted print. You can almost see the stitches woven into the print itself, but those colors were just so perfect for me. So look at the hair color and the colors. I just think that is me all over. Again, no idea what I'm making from it, but it will make a beautiful dress. And again, it's a kind of fabric that is transitional. I'll be able to wear it all year round, although it'll go beautifully with my autumn knitwear as well. Just loved it. There we go, something else to move over to the other pile. And then I have 3 more fabrics here. So these 3 fabrics are from Minerva, again as part of their brand ambassador program. So I will make up projects with these. I will post photos and a blog on the Minerva site on my profile, which I can link in below. Any of the fabrics that are still available, I'll link in below for you as well. But yeah, let me share these with you. So as I was waxing lyrical earlier about double gauze, I have some more double gauze to create a dress with. And again, I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for, but it was my color, so it was an easy pick for me. And I've made quite a few things, so I think I have a range of colors. I've definitely used black and navy, mustardy ochre color. I have like a burgundy wine color. Quite a lot of double gauze, and I have another navy with the beautiful little feathers on it. So this I had to get with the sparkles as well. And I've used this fabric a couple of times. I know how lovely it is to sew with. So that's one fabric. Another fabric that I have here then is a viscose fabric. Now, when I was picking out my fabrics for the program, I fell in love with the colors of this. I actually think it's a navy background. Sometimes hard for me to judge just in the lighting in different places, but it was the floral print that I fell in love with. Now, I had no idea for scale what size the flowers were, and I didn't expect them to be so big. So I thought about making a penny dress, and I'm just not sure now if that's going to work or not, because the scale of these florals, you see, are huge. So I'm thinking maybe something that doesn't have collar, something that's more fluid, that just maybe a wrap dress like the Hannah dress from By Hand London or something like that, which is a pattern I've been meaning to revisit anyhow. I've only made it at the beginning of my sewing journey when I knew nothing about fitting, and the fit was not great. Although it probably fits now that I can fill this area a little bit more. I might have to try those on. But yeah, I've got that, and I will have to rethink what I was going to make with that, but that's fine. Gives me the opportunity to use my brain, which isn't happening quite enough at the moment. But yeah, I love it, and I love those colors. I have so many different accessories that I can pull out to go with those colors. But the final one is the favorite out of the 3 that I've got from Minerva, and this one is called Floral Resort. I think it's a viscose jersey, but it's a beautiful, beautiful quality of viscose jersey. I absolutely love it. But again, it was the colors and the florals that drew my attention. I just love the vibrancy of this print, and yeah, this I think is going to be a Silverite Georgie dress. There should be enough there. There's 3 meters. The Georgie dress needs to be lined, so you need a little bit extra just to line it. But yeah, I love the colours of that. It's very drapey as well, which is beautiful. And it has amazing stretch and pretty good recovery. I mean, the recovery is actually better on this fabric than what I usually find to be the case with viscose jerseys. So there's 92% viscose in this and 8% of elastane, I think it is. But maybe it's that extra, because usually you've got this like 95-5 ratio going on. So maybe it's that extra 3% that gives it that little bit more buoyancy and the ability to bounce back. But it's absolutely lovely. It also has stretch down the length of the fabric as well. So, you know, you can be creative whatever way you want to use it. But I think I would be using it just on the grain line. It does mean that there's certain things you need to be careful with. So if you're making a dress that had a skirt, the skirt couldn't be that heavy because it's actually going to pull down on the fabric itself, and then your whole fitting is going to go awry. So lots of things to think about when sewing with something like a viscose jersey. But that's where we are. That's what I've done. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing those fabrics, and if any of those are to your liking, I will pop the links down in the description box below. But yeah, I just thought I'd pop in, check in with you all. Hopefully you're all doing well. And yeah, I'll be back next couple of days with a fringe dress review because I absolutely love it and I do want to share my thoughts on it with you. So take care of yourself, and I'll be back soon enough. And for now, it's Friday night, it's takeaway night. I don't have to cook, yay. So that's a blessing. I'm gonna go and enjoy that. Thanks again for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed to this video and you've got this far, why not hit on the subscribe button and put me a little comment below if you've anything to share with me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Take care. Bye.